Hi guys, this is Mr. Rollins here, and I want to show you how we're going to set up our radish seed germination lab. So first thing, you can get this out of the packet of papers that I had given you when you stopped by either Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll put it up here on the screen for you too. It's under the classwork tab, and here's our week. This was from Wednesday to Friday. Come down here to the radish seed germination lab. Click on that, and we can just open this up. Now remember guys, you have a paper version of this too. So that might be a little bit easier to do because you actually could write on that. But let's figure out what we're doing with these radish seeds that I gave you when you stopped by. So in the introduction, giving you some information there that might come in handy later when you have to answer some follow-up questions. But we're going to use radish seeds to investigate how acid affects their germination. Okay, and if you look at this picture here, here's a seed, and germination is probably this second little picture and this third little picture. See, there's a little something growing here off of this dark brown seed. Then over here we see this root establishing. That's called germination. Okay, germination means that the seed was dormant. It really looked like it was dead. It wasn't though. It was just dormant. And then we provided it with the right conditions, and then it began to germinate. Okay, some reaction started happening inside of that seed. We call that metabolism. Growth started happening, development started happening, and we'll talk about all these words as we get through chapter 1 here, but that's what we want to see. We want to see germination, okay? And we're going to investigate how different effects of acid can affect that. You all know that there's acid rain due to putting different chemicals into the air, and how does that affect the growth of seeds? Okay, if it has a profound effect, that's not going to be good because we need seeds to grow plants to provide food to all the different food chains and food webs. So let me scroll down here just a little bit. Whenever we do the scientific method, and we'll take some notes on this, the first thing we always do, and every scientist does this, whether researching cancer or coronavirus or whatever it is they state the problem they're investigating. They're stating the question. They're basically saying, what don't I know and why am I doing this experiment? So if you look right here, I gave that to you. Our question is, how does acid concentration affect the germination of radish seedlings? Now, the acid we're using is vinegar. And if you look at that little tube you got in your bag, your tube either says 0%, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7%, or 10% vinegar. Okay? So there is nothing there that is dangerous. It's just vinegar from Garrity's that I diluted out with some water. And we're going to see how that affects. Now, why did I use radish seedlings? Because they germinate in like 3 or 4 days. Okay, we're not going to be waiting weeks and weeks and weeks for this. We're going to get this set up now on Friday. And I think by like Monday, Tuesday at the latest, we'll have some data that we can work with. Okay? The second thing I want you to look at is this line here where it says hypothesis. The hypothesis is a possible answer to that problem you're investigating. So here's our problem. How does acid concentration affect the germination of radish seedlings? Okay, well, here's what we have for our acid concentrations. Okay, some of you have 0%, some have 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, 7%, and 10%. So you need to make a hypothesis that explains how do you think these acid concentrations will affect the ability of those little seeds to grow roots, okay, germinate, to show some life, okay? You might want to say something like, maybe you think as the acid concentration goes up, the amount of germination goes down. Okay? I'm supposed to get down there. I can't see that. Maybe you think the opposite. Maybe you think that because we do have acid rain and plants obviously keep growing, maybe you think as acid concentration goes up, maybe you think germination goes up. You could say that. You're just writing a statement that answers that question. Maybe you think that vinegar, you could drink vinegar. You're not going to drink that vinegar I gave you, but you could put vinegar in salad dressing. You can put it on French fries and things. You make pickles with it. Maybe you think taking vinegar and mixing 1 part vinegar with 9 parts water that's really watered down vinegar. Maybe you think this isn't going to have an effect at all. Everything's going to grow, because that's hardly anything. Taking vinegar from Garrity's and diluting it down that much. Okay? So right now, pause the video if you need to. Write your hypothesis. You write it right on that sheet that I had given you when you came in. And when you write your hypothesis, you do one statement, and once you've written it, go back and reread this problem. And does your hypothesis answer that problem? I will never mark your hypothesis wrong. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. You don't know the answer to this question. That's why you're doing the experiment. Okay, so take a minute, write out your hypothesis. Okay, so let me show you what I had given you when you stopped by. Okay, so you have a bag, and inside you all receive the paper towel, nothing fancy. I'm just going to put that on the desk in front of me. You all received, this is just a tube that has a screw cap on it, so I can give you something without it dumping everywhere. Okay, and over here you have written your percentage of vinegar. Okay, and I have it filled up pretty much to the top. And then you only need 5 of these. But I gave you more than 5 of these little radish seeds. Okay, because if you drop them, they're really hard to find. Okay, let me show you what you're going to do to set this thing up. So let me angle the camera so you can see what's in front of me. Fall off here. All right, that should work. Okay, so this is really easy, guys. This is kind of a big paper towel, so I'm just going to fold it in half this way. Now, I'm going to unscrew my tube, and I'm just going to get this paper towel damp. I don't want any of it to be dry, but I also don't need it soaked. Okay, and if you could see, if you want an amount, I started off at 15 up here, and I'm down here to about 8, 8.5. Okay, and then just act like you spilled something on a table and you're trying to clean it up. And you can see I still have some dry spots here, so I just want to get everything wet. I don't need things to be soaked. I don't want it dripping. Yeah, that's pretty good. That might be actually a little too much, but if I hold it up, I think you see that there's no water dripping out of it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take my seeds. I only need 5 of them. If your fingers are wet, they're going to stick to you. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks weird. I'm not sure that's really a seed. That thing there, it's like a different color, so I need a different one. So there's 5 seeds. I'm going to fold this over, make a little seed sandwich. Now, I still have some seeds in this bag. We're not going to use those, so I'm just going to spill them out. We could throw them away. Okay, so again, I'm not dripping water. If you're dripping water, you need to wring that out a little bit. I'm going to put it into my bag, and I am not going to zip it. I'm going to leave it wide open. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my bag, and I'm going to put it in a warm location. I'm not going to put it in direct sunlight because that might dry it out. And every day, you might not need to check it every day, but today's Friday, I would say definitely Sunday, take a look at it. If it's looking dried out, add a little bit of water to your paper towel. Remember, you want it damp or moist, but you don't want it dripping. Okay? Now, if you get it dripping wet, what could happen is there'll be so much water in there that fungus will move in. Okay, there's fungus spores all around us. Okay, and you've all seen fungus grow on food before. What'll happen is you're giving a fungus a perfect environment. You're giving it food, which is the seed. You're giving it warmth because I imagine it's warm. Now, if your house is on the cool side, try to put your bag in a little bit of a warmer spot, and then you'd also be giving that fungus tons of moisture, which is what they need. Okay, so by making our bag not soaking wet, we're giving good conditions for our seeds to germinate, but we're trying not to grow fungus because they'll kill your seeds, and then you won't know if they ever germinated. You're just going to see some fuzzy stuff growing around your seeds, and you're going to have no idea would that seed have germinated or would have not have germinated. Okay, I'm going to go back to my computer screen just for another minute here. So guys, we just did this procedure. And remember, like what I said on Sunday, please just add some more liquid if needed, and don't throw away your tube that has the liquid in it. I mean, you could put it inside the bag if you want everything in one spot. As long as you have the cap on, it's not going to leak. And guys, don't be intimidated by all this results here, conclusion, and all these analysis questions. Okay, don't get intimidated by that. We're going to work on that next week as we're checking our seeds. We're actually going to put everybody's stuff together on a Google Sheet. And we'll get all the data together. I'll show you how to make that graph. Some of you are very good at making graphs. but I'll show you how to do it just in case you don't know how. Those conclusion questions will help us to write a conclusion paragraph, and then those analysis questions, I'll help you with those, okay? And this lab will be one of your first major grades of this year, but it's going to take some of your time. Remember I told you, one of the keys to our class is doing the work a little bit at a time and putting that time in, okay? If you wait till the day before it's due and you try to take a look and you try to write all this stuff and do this graph the night before it's due, it's not going to go real well for you, okay? So you gotta take your time and ask for help. Okay, so guys, that's how you set up the lab. Like I said, nothing really too technical. And once you're done with this, you can go over and double check the assignments are going to be due, and then we'll have our Google Meet session. Okay, and you can ask me any questions you want about what you had just set up.